Somewhere today, a small business owner is signing an insurance policy, and the agent says the most comforting sentence in this entire industry. Do not worry, you are covered. So let me ask the question almost nobody asks in that moment. Covered for what exactly? Not covered as a feeling, covered as a list. Because that little word, covered, is quietly doing a lot of work in that sentence. The myth I want to flip today is the idea that one small business policy covers everything that can go wrong. It does not. It never has. And honestly, it was never supposed to. The policy I am talking about is the business owner's policy. Everyone in the industry just calls it a BOP. A BOP is genuinely one of the best deals in small business insurance, but it is really 3 separate products wearing one trench coat. And it quietly leaves out 4 big things that owners often assume are in there. Stick around, because by the end you will know exactly what is inside that coat and what never was. First, let us open the trench coat and see what a BOP actually is. A business owner's policy is a package deal built for small, lower-risk businesses. Think of the shop on Main Street, the small office, the studio, the local service company. Instead of buying several separate policies and paying for each one, you get the core protections bundled together, usually for less than they would cost on their own. Carriers can afford to do that because small, similar businesses are easier to predict. Lots of customers, familiar risks, cleaner math. It is the combo meal of commercial insurance. The burger, the fries, and the drink priced as one order. Convenient, cheaper, and very easy to stop reading closely. Inside that combo, you will typically find 3 products: commercial property coverage, general liability coverage, and business income coverage. 3 products, 1 premium, 1 very busy trench coat. One catch before we go further: not every business can buy one. Carriers typically reserve BOPs for smaller operations in lower-risk industries, and every carrier draws those lines a little differently. Product number 1. Commercial property, the armor for your stuff. This is the piece that protects the physical things your business cannot run without. The stuff you would carry out first if you ever had to. If you own your building, it can cover the building itself. And whether you own or rent, it typically covers what is inside. Your equipment, your furniture, your computers, your inventory. Say a fire tears through your bakery overnight. Imagine standing on the sidewalk the next morning, looking at the ovens, the mixers, and a month of inventory, all gone. Property coverage is the part that typically steps in to repair or replace what was damaged, up to your limits and after your deductible. It typically responds to causes of loss like fire, theft, vandalism, and certain kinds of storm damage. The exact list depends on the policy form, which is why 2 BOPs are not always twins. And that word, limits, matters more than any other word on the page. If your gear is worth far more than the limit you picked, the difference comes out of your pocket. That happens quietly, by the way. The business grows, the equipment piles up, and the limit just sits there, frozen at the number you chose years ago. So here is a habit worth stealing. Once a year, walk through your space with your phone and film everything you would hate to replace. 10 minutes, and now your limits conversation is based on reality. Product number 2. General liability, the armor for everybody else. Property coverage protects your stuff. General liability protects you when other people have a bad day on your property or because of your work. Imagine a customer slips on a freshly mopped floor in your store and breaks a wrist. Or say your crew installs a shelf, and a week later it falls and wrecks a client's countertop. General liability is the piece that typically responds when your business is legally responsible for injuring someone or damaging their property. And here is the part owners consistently underestimate. It typically also pays for your legal defense. The lawyers, the court costs, the whole exhausting process. That defense typically applies even when the claim against you is weak. A claim does not have to be fair or even true to be expensive to fight. For a small business, the defense bill alone can hurt more than the claim itself. That protection is a big part of what you are actually buying here. General liability also typically includes a small pot of medical payments coverage. That can quietly handle a minor customer injury without anyone needing to prove fault. It even typically covers certain advertising injuries. Say a competitor claims your new ad slandered them. Strange corner of the policy, but it is in there. If property coverage guards your stuff, general liability guards every handshake, every visitor, and every job you finish. Product number 3, business income, the one nobody brags about and everybody needs. Some people call it business interruption coverage. Same idea, and it is the quiet hero of the whole bundle. Here is the question it exists to answer. If that fire closed your shop for 3 months, who pays the rent while you rebuild? Property coverage rebuilds the room. It does not replace the money you were earning inside the room. Those are 2 different wounds, and they need 2 different bandages. Business income coverage typically replaces some of the income you lose while you are shut down by a covered property loss, usually after a short waiting period. It also typically helps with the expenses that keep arriving whether you are open or not. The rent, certain payroll, the loan payment that does not care about your fire. Many BOPs also typically include extra expense coverage. That is money to help you keep operating, like renting temporary space so your customers do not drift away while you rebuild. Because after a disaster, the rebuilding bill is only half the story. For a small business, the months of lost revenue can be the heavier blow. The fire does the damage, the downtime does the bankrupting. Now for the part nobody mentions at signing, 4 things a BOP typically does not cover. Gap number 1, professional mistakes. If your advice, your design, or your paperwork costs a client money, that is a professional liability problem. Say you are a bookkeeper and a missed deadline costs your client a painful tax penalty. Nobody got hurt, nothing broke, so general liability typically will not touch it. Claims like that typically need their own policy. It is called professional liability coverage, and you will also hear it called errors and omissions coverage. Gap number 2, vehicles. The moment your business owns a van or uses vehicles for work, you are typically in commercial auto territory. That is a separate policy. It does not ride along inside the BOP. Gap number 3, your own people. If an employee gets hurt on the job, that typically falls under workers' compensation. Separate policy again, and in most states it is required by law once you have employees. Gap number 4, you. A BOP typically does nothing for your own medical bills or lost wages if you get sick or injured. That is the job of health insurance and disability insurance bought separately. And 2 honorable mentions while we are here. Flood and earthquake damage are typically excluded on the property side, and each usually needs its own coverage. If your shop sits anywhere near water, that footnote deserves your full attention. Cyber is the other one. Some BOPs offer a light version as an add-on, but the built-in protection for hacks and data breaches is often thin or missing entirely. So the trench coat is real, and it is a genuinely good deal. But it was tailored on purpose, and everything it leaves out was left out on purpose too. The expensive mistake is not owning a BOP. It is owning one and assuming those 4 doors are locked when they were never even installed. So here is what I would actually do this week. 3 steps, and none of them cost a dime. Step 1, dig out your policy and read the declarations page. That is the summary up front that lists your coverages and limits in plain numbers. It is shorter than you fear. Step 2, write down the 4 gaps: professional advice, vehicles, employees, your own health. Then circle the ones your business actually touches. Step 3, bring that list to a licensed agent and ask 1 question for each circle. If this went wrong tomorrow, which policy would respond? If the answer is a long pause, do not panic. Every one of those gaps has a policy built exactly for it. A pause just means you found the homework. While you are there, sanity check your property limits against what your stuff is worth today, not what it was worth the day you opened. And make it a standing date. When the business changes, the coverage conversation should change with it. New services, first hire, first company van, each one moves the map. 10 minutes with your declarations page beats 10 years of hoping that the word covered means what you think it means. Let us land the plane. A business owner's policy is 3 products in a trench coat: property for your stuff, general liability for everyone else, business income for the downtime in between. And it typically leaves out 4 things: Professional mistakes, vehicles, injuries to your own employees, and your own health and disability. So the myth was never that a BOP is bad. The myth is that covered is a complete sentence. It is not. It always ends with "for these specific things." Quick but important note before you go. This video is education, not insurance advice. Policies and state rules vary a lot, so please sit down with a licensed agent and talk through your own coverage. If this made your policy feel a little less mysterious, subscribe. We take one piece of business insurance apart every episode in plain English, right here at the desk. I am Ray. I will see you in the next one.